So, how many times have you hit Sunday evening and just felt this massive wave of dread about the week ahead? If you're navigating the usual hustle of a US work week, Monday mornings can feel like an absolute uphill battle, right? You're exhausted before you even clock in. Well, in this explainer, we're unpacking a fascinating framework to fix exactly that. We're going to look at how a 48-hour weekend reset built around 10 really gentle Japanese habits can essentially wipe out that Monday morning dread for good. It's all about using small, intentional systems to kill the decision fatigue and friction that usually drag us down.
Picture a typical chaotic Sunday night. You know the exact scene I'm talking about, right? There are unopened grocery bags sitting on the counter, laundry just waiting in a neglected basket, tomorrow's outfit is a total mystery, and your phone is probably already lighting up with work notifications. It is the perfect breeding ground for the Sunday scaries, that impending sense of doom even when you're perfectly safe at home. Now, let's contrast that with the quiet, really intentional Sunday evening of a Tokyo resident named Aiko. Nothing she does is rushed. Honestly, nothing is visually extraordinary either. She simply washes a teacup, aligns her shoes by the door, and sets out her bag. She relies entirely on small systems instead of a giant burst of Sunday night panic.
Because here's the reality. Monday is decided long before your alarm ever rings. We often trick ourselves into thinking Monday is hard because, we lack motivation or didn't sleep enough over the weekend. But the truth? The absolutely hardest part of Monday is actually born from the friction and decision fatigue left over from Sunday night. When we rely on tiny, automated systems instead of massive amounts of willpower, we literally have the power to shape the week ahead before it even starts.
Let's dive into part 1, resetting the physical environment. So the science behind why a clean entryway actually matters comes down to something behavioral scientists call choice architecture. Basically, this is the idea that your environment influences your decisions way before your conscious effort even kicks in. Think of it like this. If you wake up to a cluttered kitchen counter and literally have to move a stack of mail just to make your coffee, your brain has already spent precious energy navigating an obstacle. But when your surroundings provide clear cues, like a pre-packed bag sitting on a clear counter, your brain spends far less energy deciding what to do next. You aren't relying on memory, and you definitely aren't relying on discipline. Your environment is quietly guiding your behavior. Aiko implements this choice architecture through our first 3 Japanese weekend habits. Habit 1 is resetting the Genkan. That's the traditional Japanese entrance or transition space between the home and the outside world. She simply aligns her shoes and hangs up her keys. Habit 2 is preparing tomorrow's essentials, like packing her laptop charger and laying out a jacket. And habit 3, simplify just one thing. Maybe that's clearing a single cluttered surface, like a dining table. Notice she isn't trying to deep clean her entire apartment like a maniac on Sunday night. She's simply making good decisions easier before the day even begins.
There's a great saying for this. Preparation isn't really about saving time. It's about protecting tomorrow's attention. And this is a massive, fundamental shift in mindset. We aren't talking about that often toxic productivity culture, where every single minute of your day has to be optimized and color-coded. No, we're talking about protecting your future self's incredibly limited attention span from unnecessary friction. One forgotten charger can completely derail a morning, sending you into a spiral of stress. A pre-packed bag, on the other hand, that fiercely protects your morning peace.
Moving right along to part 2, closing open mental loops.
Have you ever tried to relax on a Sunday afternoon but just felt this constant, low-level hum of anxiety? Psychologists refer to this as the Zeigarnik effect. It's basically the brain's natural tendency to hold on to unfinished tasks, which effectively traps a portion of your attention. A charger left plugged in 3 rooms away, or a wallet buried under a pile of weekend mail, these both act as open loops. Think of these unfinished decisions exactly like apps running in the background of your smartphone. Even when your phone is just sitting in your pocket, those hidden background apps are quietly, constantly draining your battery. To combat that exhausting battery drain, we move to habit 4, finishing tiny unfinished tasks. It takes, maybe 5 minutes on Sunday evening to put a receipt in the recycling or hang up a jacket? Once that's done, you move to habit 5, gently reviewing the coming week. Aiko simply opens a notebook, notes a Tuesday meeting and a Wednesday grocery run, and closes it. That is it. It completely removes the hidden mental weight of uncertainty and finally allows the brain to experience genuine rest.
And this brings us to a really beautiful philosophy: clarity, not control. Unlike the exhaustive productivity culture we so often see here in the States, where we feel the need to schedule, conquer, and dominate every single hour of the upcoming week, this Japanese habit is simply an overview. It's so incredibly freeing to let go of micromanaging your calendar. You aren't trying to aggressively control the week. You're just removing the anxiety of the unknown. Giving your brain that clarity feels like a genuine act of care rather than just another heavy obligation.
Next up is part 3, protecting your physical energy. We so often treat Sunday as our last desperate chance to squeeze out a few more hours of freedom, right? Staying up late to binge-watch shows because we refuse to accept the weekend is over. But sleep researchers show that our bodies heavily rely on consistent circadian rhythms. This is why we implement Habit 6, the gentle wind down. By slowly returning to a weekday sleep rhythm on Sunday evening, dimming the lights early, putting away screens, and unhurriedly getting ready for bed, you avoid that jarring transition that makes Monday mornings feel so physically exhausting. When you stay up late on Sunday, you aren't just tired on Monday, your internal clock is literally jet-lagged. It's as if you just flew across 3 time zones. To further protect that physical and mental energy, the 48-hour reset incorporates our next 3 habits. Habit 7 is prepping simple meals. Setting up the rice cooker on Sunday night means you don't face decision fatigue staring blankly into the fridge on Monday morning. Habit 8 is avoiding Sunday shopping if at all possible. Navigating crowded stores and resisting impulse purchases asks your brain to make dozens of rapid-fire decisions, draining your energy exactly when you need to recover. And Habit 9 is choosing to spend moments entirely without stimulation.
Let's actually expand on that with Habit 10, the unplugged pause. Sitting with a cup of tea in total silence, without checking headlines, answering texts, or scrolling social media, isn't just a relaxing aesthetic. And I know it can actually sound kind of terrifying for modern workers to sit in a quiet room without a glowing screen to distract us. But attention researchers note that this quiet time is how the brain biologically processes, organizes, and recovers. We often think relaxing means consuming more entertainment, but true recovery requires moments where absolutely nothing new is competing for your attention.
Which brings us to part 4, the gentle weekend reset. This is where the science gets incredibly inspiring. Neuroplasticity is how repeated, ordinary experiences slowly rewire the physical structure of the brain. When you repeatedly end your weekend with a calm, unhurried walkthrough of your apartment, you are gently teaching your brain to expect calm instead of chaos on Monday. You aren't just cleaning a kitchen or putting away shoes. You are literally wiring your nervous system to feel safe, grounded, and prepared as the new week begins. Through this process, you actually experience a genuine identity shift. You prepare with intention. You remove unnecessary complexity. You create calm instead of chasing control. Over time, these small Sunday habits stop feeling like chores you're forcing yourself to do. Instead, they become undeniable evidence of the person you are becoming. Behavioral psychology tells us that confidence doesn't magically appear first. Our actions do. The small, incredibly positive experiences we repeat become the story we confidently tell ourselves about who we are.
Aiko in Tokyo no longer prepares her Genkan or packs her bag because she fears Monday. She does it because she's fundamentally become someone who chooses calm over pressure. She leaves these small, simple systems as literal gifts of compassion to her future self. She treats her future self with kindness, ensuring her environment naturally makes good choices easier. It's a profound shift in how we care for ourselves.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really ask yourself, what is one small point of friction you can remove for your future self tonight? You don't need to completely overhaul your weekend or become a perfectly disciplined robot. Just look around your own environment. Maybe you pack your work bag, or maybe you clear just one single surface. How can you gently reset your space to build a more peaceful week long before that alarm ever has a chance to ring? Try one small system tonight and just see how it changes your Monday.